Shanti. Good evening to those of you who are able to join us live, and also greetings to those of you tuning in later through the YouTube video. We're in this phase of preparing for Dadi Gulzar's Day next Thursday, and we've been doing various things in the early Amrit Vela sessions. And today we're going to hear a couple of short classes that Dadi Gulzar gave back in 2008 when she was visiting Kenya. And then we can have some chit chat afterwards if you'd like to. So I'll hand over to Ranjan now to read to us.
Om Shanti. Good evening to all. So this month we'll have different daddies, so many daddies, and then in this month become Abhyakt, Varishta. But this is today we are going to read about Dadi Gulzar. Can they hear me? The date is 16th May 2008, 1605 2008. And it is in Mombasa, Kenya retreat class. So Dadi says, remember what you were and what you are now. During our days with Brahma Baba, before we went to sleep, 3 songs were played every day. While the first song was playing, we would check ourselves individually whether our time, thoughts were used in a worthwhile way and how much time went to waste thoughts. While the second song was playing, we would relate to Brahma Baba how we spent the day. Baba would then shake our hands individually before we went to sleep. The third song would take us to sleep as Master Shankar, and therefore, during the day, we would be Vishnu. This is the type of sustenance Baba gave us. The practice we used to have in the beginning was soul-to-soul relationship. Soul consciousness was the practice. When speaking, look at the soul in the middle of the forehead. Never come into the consciousness of name and form. Just practice and make this firm. When body consciousness disappears, we become soul conscious. Have the habit of only looking at souls. To become incorporeal and voiceless, we need to make a lot of effort. You need to practice for a long time. If you practice for a long time, you will have unlimited disinterest. This will enable us to experience the kingdom for a long time. Check yourself and share with Baba, and the intellect becomes free. The meaning of good wishes and pure feelings is to help those who fall down. Give spiritual power of good wishes and pure feelings, and all those who have fallen will rise. As soon as we came to Baba, he said, "You are my child." He did not see our weaknesses. Baba wants to remove the diversity and create the tree of sandalwood. It has a lot of fragrance. There is a lot of loss when we start to speak of other people's weaknesses. Mama used to say, "Have you seen a rosary? The rosary only looks good when the beads meet with each other." We are all beads of victorious rosary around Baba's neck. We should have the attitude of cooperation, good feelings, pure feelings. With silence power, we can do the impossible. When you are following Baba's teachings, there should be no bad feelings. Always keep the lotus flower in front of you. The lotus is above mud. The image of the lotus is our memorial. The lotus is our creation, and we should be loving and detached in all relationships. We should inculcate the qualities of the lotus. See all family with the consciousness of soul and have pure feelings for all. We should have no other feelings. We are world benefactors and have taken up the responsibility of transforming the elements. Baba has given Brahmins a canopy of protection. In the 3 days that we are going to be here, remember it was a retreat in Mombasa, that's why in the 3 days that we are going to be here, let us practice having no waste thoughts. Don't waste time. Don't waste your breath. Should not ask questions of what, why, etc. Do whatever you want to do now and not later. Don't use the words, I will do it later. There is great fortune in donating. If you have a thought, then do it immediately. Because to say later is laziness, and then you don't get around to do it, There is in Hindi and Gujarati, we say Turat Dan Mahapunya. So this is what Baba is saying, that there is great fortune in donating. If you have a thought, then do it immediately. So immediately means Turat, donate means Dan. And then it's a fortune. Have the consciousness of the cycle when doing duty, means the cycle, world, it's a globe. Spend the 3 days in intense effort and do not waste time. Do not speak of common things. Use everything in a worthwhile way. Every thought should be powerful. Baba says to us, attention, please. Have attention. Do lots of tapasya, intense meditation. Have the intoxication that God has chosen me. Which one is it? And now this is Dadi Gulzar, 17th, the next day, 17th May 2008. It's Mombasa, Kenya retreat class. If you do a task in remembrance of Baba, the Supreme Soul, you have become a karma yogi. Then you receive the many help from God.
Middle. Middle.
Have remembrance of God when performing any task. Our stage, our face will change when we have remembrance. Victory is your birthright. We are the ones who have all right. We are the ones who have a right to success. There is no need even to think because you already have blessings of God. This is a birthright given by God. We are children who are Raj Yogis. Shiv Baba has made us the masters and kings of all kings. Through Raj Yoga, become king. Each child is a king, master of the mind. So we are the king of our own mind, master of the mind, lord of the mind. In the world, there's a lot of tension. We should pay attention when in tension and become the embodiments of who God is: peace, love, happiness, and power. Light drives darkness away. We experience peace and power when our intellect goes towards God. Remember Shiv Baba and your sorrow disappears. Why is peacelessness increasing in the world? Dadi is asking. I can only experience peace if connected to God. The giver of peace is Shiv Baba. We can experience peace in 1 second. When we sit down to remember God, are we really remembering Him? God is Father of the souls. We have to remember God while having the consciousness of the soul. Baba has given Raj Yogis to be the benefactors of the world. Baba asks, after becoming a Raj Yogi, do you experience zeal and enthusiasm? If this fluctuates, then you are not able to fly. So if the zeal and enthusiasm fluctuates, then we are not able to fly. Dadi says, zeal and enthusiasm gives us wings with which to fly. Ask yourself, do I have zeal and enthusiasm? The power of the intellect is important when we are preparing food. Mind should be in control. I am the master of the mind. The one who has the power is the one who controls. The mind wanders because I am not in control. The mind becomes very weak because keeping in the body consciousness, mind becomes very weak because of keeping in body consciousness. What do we get angry about? We are the master almighty authorities. What is the cause of peacelessness? Because we have not solved the mystery of who I am. The achievement we receive from God is eternal. We have a relationship with the Supreme Soul. We have to have the consciousness of soul and then remember God. There is a story about King Janak who wanted to experience liberation in life. Many were not able to give him this. Then a boy came to the stage. He was deformed. He said, today all who are here are gathering of leather of the body. Sheldon, might you relate the story after? You know, it's like Astavakar. He had 8 form of deformities. Asta means 8. So he said, gathering of the leather of the body means this skin. Our skin is like a leather. So king had invited a lot of learned people, but none of them were able to satisfy him. And this deformed boy, whom they were laughing and said, he is so stupid. Oh, what can he tell you? And so he called them that you are body consciousness. There's a smell of leather, body odor in you. You don't know anything. He then guided King Janak to the right path of soul consciousness. So Shailan Bhai will relate that after. Truly, from the heart. See yourself as a soul and remember God. God will give you what is rightfully yours. The achievements we receive from God are eternal. Baba gives the example of the lotus flower. It is detached from the mud. It is not affected by the mud. God is the benefactor. He is giving so much. He is giving the inheritance of power and peace. Be easy yogi and create a good atmosphere in the world. When we hear and inculcate that in our life, and then there is value. When we hear and inculcate that in our life, then there is value. Okay. We complete the third page.
Oh, that's it.
So is it? Oh, that's 3 days. Okay. And
Do you want to share something?
this I was listening to yesterday. It's,
Sure.
this in Hindi also is Dadi Gulzar's channel and video. I was listening to this, but I can't remember all 3 songs. But at night, Baba used to say Soja, Rajkumari Soja. So if Hindi walas want to find and listen, it's really lovely, Dadi Gulzar. But this is the exact class and how to do the checking, Baba. And Baba, he said Baba used to treat them like little thakurs, my little deities, and then himself would uh, feed them with a lot of fruit, seasoned, or whatever fruit is in the season. And Baba used to, and then ask and train them to check themselves, like he said, like a Shankar. So Baba also says to us in the morning at Amrit Vela, if you fill yourself with a, a lot of good thoughts, powerful, and this is why Amrit Vela is very important. Then you are Brahma, like Brahma, fill yourself with Baba's power and thought. So in the morning, at that time, you are Brahma, and all out throughout the day, Dadi mentioned Vishnu, and Vishnu is sustainer. So you every now and again check and be Vishnu and sustain everything. And then at night, be Shankar and give your subtle checking everything, whatever you have done, hand over to Baba. And she said to sleep. And then they used to have a song, Soja, Maharaj Kumari Soja, because Baba treated them like, prince and princesses, and so that. And in the morning, Amrit Vela, they used to play a song, Jag, Sajaniya Jag, you know. So awaken, oh my brides, awaken in the morning at Amrit Vela. Now they have this song of Amrit Vela. But on those days, they had that song. And at night, Soja, Rajkumari Soja is the one which is like, go to sleep, my princess, go to sleep. So, and I can't remember the other one, but 3 songs. It's in Hindi then. So if anybody is okay, Om Shanti. Now, and you or anybody else, you want to say.
Yeah, Daddy it always takes us back to those early days. She had a different experience to the senior daddies because she was part of the children's class. She was part of the school that Baba started. I believe that she was about 10 years old, something like that. And so she had a different experience of Baba's sustenance. And those are some of the things that you're hearing there. And I like I liked what she was saying about that there's tension in the world, and we have to keep attention on our intentions. Well, there's tensions in the world, and we have to keep attention on our intentions. So I think that's something to think about. sometimes our motives can create tension for us and others. So I really like that point, something for us to examine ourselves in. And then she began that one by talking about that soul consciousness. And that's something you hear from all of those original Daddies, that for many years, their main practice in meditation was soul consciousness. It only became clearer about remembering Baba later on, but they started off with this, practicing their bodilessness, practicing their soul conscious vision. And they all focused a lot on yoga while sitting and also yoga while performing karma, about soul consciousness, while performing karma. And Shiv Baba tells us in the Morali that Brahma Baba also made sure his foundation of soul consciousness was very strong and very deep. So I think that generation, they didn't have as many Moralis as us. We probably had more sophistication in our knowledge sustenance and also in our understanding more generally than them. But I think sometimes you can have so many points of knowledge that you don't focus on any of them properly. And what they seem to have done, they had a few points that you're a soul, but then to really turn that into experience is something that group did. So I think we were hearing that as well at the beginning of that reading, and they brought back those memories. And just now, as Ranjaben was talking, scene that came in my mind was must have been the year 2000 or the year 2002, and it was I think the year that the Om Shanti Retreat Center in Gurgaon near to Delhi opened. That's the place where Didi Asha is based. Maybe some of you have been there. And it was just new at that time. Dedi Janki had said to us while we were in Madhuban that why not go and take a look at it on your way back to the UK? So we had gone. And we also wanted to, of course, take the chance to meet Dadi Gulzar if we could. Now, it is quite far from Delhi, actually. In those days, Dadi Gulzar used to live at New Panda Bhavan, which is anyone who is older Brahmin will know 25 New Rohtak Road. We had to write it on all our visas all the time. So the address is like ingrained in the memory. And it's a special center because out after Madhuban, that was the first center that the whole Brahmin family purchased together. Baba had said, and Dadi and Prakashvani had said, that all the Brahmins have to try and save up and at least give 1 or 2 rupees and get together. And so that one is the first like collective one that all the BKs. And that's where Delhi Gozai used to live. Her mother was Delhi All-Rounder, and she also lived there. And at that time, 25 years ago, so we went, and it was one other mother from the London class was with us. She came from Om Shanti Retreat Center into Delhi by taxi to meet Daddy. And I remember we were very late because the traffic in Delhi is terrible and probably even worse now. And took us a long time to get there. But Daddy was very patient, so we arrived, I think, maybe 1 hour or 1.5 hours late. But she still saw us, and Neela Ben was also very nice. And it was just the four of us in Daddy's room, making home. And I remember the first thing she did was she just got up, because we were all in awe of Daddy's, Baba's chariot. It's really a great privilege. And she just got up and turned on the fan because she thought Ranjan Ben looked a little hot. And so she was always like very considerate. It wasn't like feeling of like it's beneath her or that, but it was just like very friendly, thinking about others. I remember that sweetness of Dadi Gulzar. And even her mother, Dadi Allrounder, I think she left the body on 18th January. Does that sound right?
I think so. She went
1990 or something like that?
something. Yeah, she usually, obeys her, waits for her turn, always, but she hadn't been well. And that day she said, no, I need to go. I must go. I must go. Because she wasn't well and she wanted to meet Baba. And then was taken ill and left the body in hospital then.
Baba had given her the name Allrounder because whenever he asked, can anyone do something? She was just said yes. She was volunteered. She didn't think that she never done it before. She just always said, okay, I'll try. And so Baba gave her that. It's a blessing, isn't it?
Mm.
That you're an all-rounder.
Yeah, because Baba needed somebody who could run errands, all types of things, and nobody had that courage and nobody volunteered. That's why Dadi volunteered. She said, "Ha, Baba, I'll do whatever you teach me." And Baba gave her that name.
So she was also living in that heaven. And we had met when first went to Madhaban in 1988. Do you remember? We were leaving to go to do a bit of tourism in Agra to see the Taj Mahal. And as we were leaving, we went to say hello, and she was so happy. Like she was really, really like meeting Brahmins, and she was quite old then as well. And she had a bedroom on the ground floor. And I remember we went and she kept some apples in her bed. So we went to say Om Shanti and she pulled out this fruit from underneath her bed to give to us as Toby. So I remember that.
She did that to everyone. Most foreigners went to see her, and she would have nuts and things there in her wardrobe, and then she would ask and make you sit down and talk, and it was very, very powerful. Not talking much, but very powerful. And then she would get up and give us story and things, fruit. And,
Yeah, so we had lots of opportunities really with Daddy. And another memory that comes to mind is 1986. I was only 8 years old. And in those days, the London class didn't have their own big center. We were having class in the Bhavan where Dadi Janki used to live, which is called Baba Bhavan. And then the big gathering would be every third Sunday for World Meditation Hour, and sometimes Sunday morning class as well. And that summer, Dadi Gulzar spent it in London, so we had her for Raksha Bandhan. And I remember that it was in Kilburn Square Community Centre, Germany. And we were very fortunate to have two daddies for Raki. So Daddy Janki, and we had Daddy Gulzar, and Didi Sudesh, and Didi Janki. And Daddy Gulzar was tying the Raki and giving drishti. And I think everyone felt like maybe even Baba was coming and giving drishti. So we had a really fortunate opportunity. And we were using the chairs like that were there in the community center, and brothers and sisters were covering it like in white garments, white cloth sheets. And what they were doing is like almost creating like a sofa. And so putting two chairs together, they were quite big chairs where you could even sit cross-legged on. And then because the cover was quite big, it was big enough to cover two, so you then combined it. And I don't know, Renjinben was helping out, or I was helping out. I can remember just being there while everything was being set up. And Daddy Gulzar and Daddy Janki came to have a look. And first thing Daddy Gulzar said was separate the chairs. Daddy won't sit on a chair that's like a sofa shared with anyone else. And she explained that because she was going to offer Bhog to Baba, she never sat in a chair connected with anyone else or touching anyone else because that person's vibration would interfere with her mind as she goes up in trance to meet Baba. So Dadi really taught everyone the importance of making sure you're not taking in anyone else's energy, having those boundaries. So she wouldn't even, like, if you notice in the videos when Baba is coming, no one else is even on the stage. When Baba when she's invoking Baba at the beginning, they all like put her on and then everyone comes down. So we had that time there, that opportunity. So that one comes to mind. And then I don't know if it was the final time I met Dadi, but it was one of the final times back in 2012. Um, I was leaving Madhuban and Lady Janki took me after her evening class. She just took me in her car because she said, "Oh, I'm going to go and say hello to Lady Gulzar. Come with me." And Lady Gulzar, she was lying. It was like a hospital bed, so she was like one of the it could recline, so she could sit up. And I don't think she expected me to be walking in. But Lady Janki just sort of brought me in, and she was always so excited to see the other ladies. And I remember her telling Daddy Gulzar knew me anyway, and she, Daddy Janki was just saying to Daddy Gulzar that Ranjan Ben's economizing is a real wonder. And so that was a good, sweet opportunity to also gain that drishti from her. So many memories like that. Do you want to say something? Yeah, the story of King Janak is there are many stories of King Janak, and in the mythology, he is the father of Sita, the princess or the goddess Sita. Her father is King Janak. So probably there is a King Janak actually in the Silver Age. But in the Hindu stories, King Janak has like a mythological status. And Baba refers in the Morali to one or two of those kings. Actually, there were Buddhist kings like Gopi Chand. And there was a tradition around that time, maybe 2000, 2500 years ago, where you would have these like monk kings, and they were following Siddhartha, who became the Buddha. And so there's this tradition of leaving your palace and really becoming a monk and following spiritual endeavors. You find it with some kings also in Europe, and probably in other traditions too. And King Janak is I think the stories around him were probably written around that time. So he's an interesting character because he seems to be a mixture of many things in terms of how he's depicted. But one of them is that he was a yogi king. So he is remembered as having the secret of liberation in life. And when I was I think maybe 12 years old, we did a short play at the London Centre on this, the story that Dadi was referring to. In those days, we used to have world meditation from 12 p.m. Until, so it was uh,
11.
Daddy or Sister Jayanti or Sister Sudesh would give class from about 11 a.m. And then 12 p.m. would be a short entertainment program, which the children's class ran for the family. So I was part of the children's class. And I didn't really come that often to class in those days. I was mainly just coming for this. And I used to like drama. So I used to like doing these plays every third Sunday of the month before the World Meditation. And even now, my people who are with me or the teachers we had at that time, um, the last time I spoke to one of them, it was a few years ago now, but she said that I was always I always played the mayor every week. I don't know, I had this sort of way of just being and acting. I was like the mayor. In this case, I was like King Janak. Um, and another one of the girls in the children's class, she played this role of Ashtavakra. And Ashtavakra in this play, he was the cobbler of the king. So I remember that our main joke was that he's fixing my shoes and he's saying to me that, oh, great king, I can tell you about the soul. And I was saying, I don't want to know about the soul of my shoe. I want to know about Jivan Mukti, liberation in life. So that was our main joke. And no, 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 not that soul, this soul, like that. So that was the type of play we did. And the story is that because he was so disabled, deformed, and considered to be in a lower caste, why was he so happy? And Ashtavakra knew that he was a soul. That's why he was happy. This was the secret of Jivan Mukti. So King Janak is considered to have had that secret, and he was able to treat his kingdom in the consciousness of being a trustee. That's the So Baba says these are all symbols of you. You Raj yogis who look after your families, you look after your businesses, you look after and so on. Or even if you're looking after a center, you're a trustee. Or whatever you do, you have to remember you're an actor. Baba mentioned that the other day, that people do things, but they don't consider themselves to be an actor doing. That's a new thing that Baba teaches us. You're a traveler. You're on a journey through the cycle, and you are a guest. We had that in the slogan the other day. If you consider yourself to be a guest, Mehman, then you can be Mahan. You will become great. And you have to consider yourself to be an instrument. Shiv Baba is Karavan. And he tells us in the morally what to do, and we just follow that. So he's getting everything done. So in this way, and even like today, I was talking about the combined form, that's another one to remember. So he teaches us these awareness to free us. He doesn't free us from doing things. He frees us from the burdens of doing things, from the bondages of doing things. So Baba says that King Janak, because in the Silver Age, there isn't any bondage anyway. So you wouldn't really be that King Janak. It's you. You are the King Janaks. And when Devi Sudesh used to explain all this, she used to point out that another name for Janak and for Sita is Videhi. So they call it Videhi. And Videhi literally means the bodiless one. So this is really the practice we're doing. Would anyone like to ask anything before we finish for the evening or share anything? Okay. So let's finish with a few minutes of drishti from Dadi Gulzar.